Hello and welcome to the Season 1 Week 2 BOP tier list video. This week's data was captured Thursday morning CST using the iRacing Reports Discord, link below. Alright, starting off, let's take a look at Touring Car Challenge. This week it goes to the always popular Road Atlanta. The Michelin Pilot Challenge multi-class 2-hour solo endurance race is also here this weekend with these TCRs and the GT4s. And for the Fixed series, it looks like in B tier I got the Civic and the Veloster, with the latter looking like it might be tricky to handle at Road Atlanta, but potentially an S tier car in the right hands. A tier I have the RS3, with the Elantra seemingly faster than the rest in S tier. So here's the Touring Car Challenge Fixed tier list at Road Atlanta this week. Alright, for the Open Series, participation is a bit on the low side, so results are likely still a bit more skewed than in reality. But with that said, I got the RS3 falling well behind to D tier, as the other cars seemingly pick up a lot more pace with setup adjustments. I got the Veloster and Civic in a B tier, with the Elantra even more dominating, going at S+ tier. So here's the Touring Car Challenge Open tier list for this week at Road Atlanta. And moving on to the GT4 series, also at Road Atlanta, as I said. In the Fixed series, I have the Porsche, which seems to be the only car on the struggle bus, a bit outside of that 1 second window, going a D tier. B tier, I have the BMW. A tier, the McLaren and Aston Martin, with a return of the Mac, as the Mercedes takes S tier. So here's your GT4 Challenge Fixed tier list for this week at Road Atlanta. And then for the Open Series, again, the Porsche struggles and makes up no ground with setup adjustments, going D tier. In B tier, I got the BMW still, the Aston Martin maintaining A tier, that McLaren bumped up slightly to an A+, with the Mercedes holding on to that S tier. So here's your GT4 Challenge Open Setup tier list for this week at Road Atlanta. And just a quick note, if you're enjoying this BOP video, drop the hammer on that like and sub button if you haven't already. And if you'd like to show a little bit more support for the work I put into these types of videos, there's also that super thanks and join buttons below. Okay, the GT3 Challenge Fix goes to Brands Hatch. And contrary to last week, this week's track is a bit more technical with its short straights and tricky on-sighted apexes. As a result, we see some significant changes to the tier list this week. Note that the Ford is inconclusive with too few data points. Can we get this already? Anywho, last week, A tier Ferrari drops to C tier this week, as its median average lap pace is outside our 1 second window benchmark from the fastest paced car this week. It's accompanied by the Porsche. However, I would caveat that the Porsche's fixed setup was adjusted during yesterday's patch, and so it may be performing better or maybe even worse than the results I got here. So keep an open mind with this one. And moving on, I have the BMW and Mercedes performing nearly identical in B tier, and I would also include the McLaren here as well. And I put the Lamborghini in A, although the skewing of that 50 to 75 percentile may indicate some increased variability for the below average Lambo driver. And finally, I have the Audi taking this week's crown with an S tier ranking, being the only car this week to have its median pace break into the 124s in average race lap time. And so here's your GT3 Challenge Fixed tier list for this week at Brands Hatch. Now let's see how the BOP pans out in the GT3s in the 40-minute open setup VRS Sprint race. Note the Ford again is inclusive here with too few data points. Alright, with setup adjustments, it does seem the Mercedes falls behind the rest, going D tier. Porsche and Ferrari both move up and joined by the McLaren in B. The BMW, slightly above the 3, goes a B+. And the big benefactors of setup adjustments, it seems, goes to the Audi and the Lamborghini, as both are over 1 second faster in median pace than the rest of the entire field. Also, I got the Lambo in S tier and the Audi in S+. And so here's your VRS GT3 Sprint tier list for this week at Brands Hatch. But again, at 3 different tracks so far this season, we have 3 different tier list results. So let's see what we get over at the IMSA Hagerty series, which goes to the chicaneless last sector historic version of Barcelona. Now these results are interesting at Barcelona. A traditional testbed for F1 due to its variety of corner types might give us a clearer picture of what to expect the rest of the season. And with the open setups, again, the Mercedes falls behind the rest of the field a bit, as I have it here in C tier. And I got B tier for the Porsche and Ferrari, A tier to the BMW. Then, like what we saw with the Brands Hatch data, I have the Audi and the Lambo together solidly in S tier, with a slight edge to the Lambo, which I'll give an S+. And here's your IMSA Hagerty tier list for this week at Circuit de Barcelona. So with this and last week's results, it's looking with open setups like the Audi and Lamborghini Wombo combo is back from a few seasons ago, performing great on technical tracks in particular, the BMW not too far behind on similar tracks, and the Ferrari and McLaren the big performers on fast courses that feature more straight line speed. In turn, the Porsche struggles mightily on that straight line speed tracks, but does well on more mixed technical tracks. This leaves Mercedes in the back. However, it interestingly performs much more competitively when iRacing Fixed setups are deployed. But can't wait to see what results we will get from Spa and Watkins Glen next week. Alright, now last but not least, I'll quickly hit the European Sprint Series, which goes to Spa, which usually drives up participation in this particular series. Thus, in D here, I have the BMW, C to the Ford, given a B- to the Corvette, an A to the Ferrari, and S tier for that Porsche RSR. And as such, here's your European Sprint GTE tier list for this week at Spa. And there you have it, folks. Please go check out one of my other most recent videos up here in the right hand corner. And I do stream some of my longer official races in league racing here and other various games outside of racing over my other YouTube channel. Links below for that as well as my other socials. And until next time, safe driving.